My mother-in-law announced she was cutting me from my husband's will at the reading. The lawyer started laughing. My mother-in-law Pauline had been planning this moment for months. Ever since Anthony passed last spring, she'd been telling her book club ladies about how she was finally getting rid of his opportunistic wife. She even bought herself a new Hermes Birkin to celebrate what she called her restoration of family legacy. The bag alone cost more than most people's cars, but Pauline needed everyone to know she was about to be even wealthier. The funeral wasn't even cold before Pauline started making her move. She'd glide through our house, well, what she assumed would be her house, running her manicured fingers over surfaces and telling her friend Ellen which pieces belonged to Anthony's grandmother. Stella only married him for the money, she'd say sweetly while reorganizing my kitchen cabinets. 5 years is hardly a real marriage, is it? Not like the 30 years his father and I had before the divorce. She'd even started changing the locks on the vacation home in the Hamptons, posting photos on Facebook of her reclaiming family property, with captions about how blood always wins in the end. So there I was, sitting in this pristine law office downtown. The whole place smelled like leather and expensive coffee. Pauline showed up in her St. John suit, the cream one she wore to charity luncheons, practically glowing with anticipation. Her friends Ellen and Annie flanked her like designer-clad bodyguards. She'd even brought her personal assistant to document the transition of assets. Stella dear, I hope you have a backup plan, Pauline cooed, adjusting her pearls. Perhaps that little secretary job you had before trapping my son. Anthony finally came to his senses about you. Such a shame when young women think they can just attach themselves to successful men. But don't worry, I'm not completely heartless. I'll give you 2 weeks to move out. Ellen smirked. So generous of you, Pauline. Well, Pauline sighed dramatically. I'm not a monster. Though after what she put my poor Anthony through, I stayed quiet, smoothing my black dress. Let her have her moment. I noticed she was already wearing Anthony's father's Cartier watch, the one she'd borrowed from our safe the day after the funeral. The lawyer shuffled in right on time. Ms. Cruz was this sharp woman in her 50s with a no-nonsense bob and rimless glasses. She looked like she'd seen everything twice. Pauline immediately launched in before the poor woman could even open her briefcase. Let's not waste time with pleasantries. I'm Anthony Sullivan's mother, his only living parent, so naturally everything reverts to family, real family. And I want it clearly stated that Stella gets nothing. Not the house, not the accounts, not even that tacky wedding china she picked out. Ellen nodded knowingly. Blood is thicker than water after all. Annie added, 5 years is barely a marriage. More like an extended dating situation. Not like she gave him children or anything meaningful. Ms. Cruz looked up slowly from her papers, genuinely puzzled. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sullivan, but what will are you referring to exactly? Pauline's perfectly Botoxed forehead tried to furrow. My son's will, the one leaving his estate to his family, his real family. Ms. Cruz set down her pen and looked at Pauline with something between pity and amusement. Mrs. Sullivan, I think there's been a significant misunderstanding here. What misunderstanding? Pauline's voice pitched higher. You called us here for the will reading. That's when Ms. Cruz started chuckling. It started as a quiet snicker, then evolved into genuine laughter. Pauline and her friends exchanged horrified looks. Oh dear, Mrs. Cruz said, composing herself. Ma'am, there is no will. Your son never drafted one. Pauline went pale beneath her Chanel foundation. What do you mean there's no will? That's impossible. Check again. She pulled out a folder. I called this meeting to explain interstate succession laws, since there's no will directing asset distribution. Without a will, everything goes to the surviving spouse according to state law. Every single asset. Pauline straightened her spine, her voice shaking. Well, surely as his mother, the woman who gave birth to him, raised him. Actually, Ms. Cruz interrupted smoothly, turning to smile at me. Stella inherits everything. The house, bank accounts, investment portfolio, life insurance, the vacation properties. The silence in that office was exquisite. Ellen gasped. This can't be right. She's nothing but a cocktail waitress who got lucky. Oh, it absolutely is right, she said pleasantly. Marriage creates the primary legal relationship. Parents have no claim when there's a surviving spouse. Pauline looked like she might faint into her Birkin. The house in Greenwich? Stella's house now, Ms. Cruz confirmed. The investment accounts? The trust fund? Also Stella's. The Hamptons house I've already started redecorating? That would be theft if you've actually changed the locks. Stella's property. I finally spoke up, my voice steady. When can we start the transfer paperwork? And should I press charges for the break-in? Pauline stood abruptly, knocking over her coffee, her friends scrambling to gather their things. This isn't over, she hissed, though we both knew it was. You're not family. You'll never be family. According to the law, she's the only family that matters in this situation. Pauline immediately stormed out to her Mercedes after that. Ms. Cruz handed me her card. Call my office tomorrow. We'll begin processing everything. Anthony always said karma has perfect timing.